What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. This is Blinkers Off. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? I'm sitting here on pins and needles tonight. I'm very curious to see how this is going to go.
I honestly have no idea. So, quick story. This is daddy daycare tonight because we got snow here in Missouri, and my babysitters, aka my parents, can't make the drive, and so I'm doing this with no supervision. What's up, buddy?
It took 1 minute for them to make it appearance.
we just started. What's up?
I thought, okay, we might last 2-3 minutes. No, 30 seconds. No. He's looking behind the door.
He couldn't help himself. He knows we're on air, and he's like, I got to be on. So
I love it. Well, he can be on.
What's up? He said, "What's up?" He actually did tell me earlier, Cooper, that he wanted to go back to Aaron's house to play with the wrestlers and to bring Buzz and Woody. So
yeah, you can see right over my shoulder. There's all the wrestlers. They're
see
waiting
over there.
For you, so.
Those wrestlers. Oh. Yeah, you want to play that again?
All
right, Daddy's gonna try to make some picks here. All right, why don't you go play?
Yeah, this might be a short show.
Well, lucky for us, this is a week of really not a lot going on. I did the Santa Ynez race with Magic earlier on the previews, and it was just like this is the best we have, and it's really not that good.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Oh, there's a. Hey, you were supposed to watch him. Get him out of here. Oh, that one didn't have any pants on, so you really don't know. He opened the door. Okay, a day in the life of a single dad, right there.
I was gonna say, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to wrap this up by myself. I don't know how long we're gonna have Jared tonight, but this is worth it. Seeing him.
I told Magic earlier, I was like, dude, you're gonna want to tune in just to see the shit show. What's gonna happen tonight? So. We need to have the odds of how many times can Cooper come in? How many times does one of them need to go pee? How many poops do I have to handle during the show? Over under on both of those is 2.5, by the way. So take your bets. All right, so we're back. The new year is here. The 2-year-olds are now 3. Halterman, we're officially on the Derby Trail. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, we're on it.
Have you learned anything?
It doesn't really feel like it, right? It's still just a little odd. I was talking to Samich about this earlier in the week on a little show we did with the shape for the fantasy league. It's just like usually whether it ends up being your pick or not, you've got 2, 3, 4 horses right now at this time of the year. It's like, yeah, that's who I'm kind of leaning towards for the Derby right now. Like Essential Quality Life is good last year at this time. Those were 2 that we knew were going to be pretty tough. Neither one of them won, but still, at that time, it felt that way. Here, it's like, I could name you 20 horses that might have a shot at this thing. There's just no standout yet. There were 4 preps, 3 official preps, and one was a Mucho Macho Man, which might as well have been an official prep. But there were 4 last week. Some of them were really bad. Some of them were okay, but there's just not a flashy horse in this group yet.
No. And then you have and we'll get into all this. We're going to do a little bit of update here on kind of these prospects and some of the races we have upcoming. But then you have the Baffert situation that you, even if there is a potential kind of horse, I mean, you would kind of lean towards looking in his barn, but guess what? He's not getting any points. So what do you do with that? And that's a whole other situation. So yeah, you're right. I mean, shit, I had the second pick in the entire draft this year. I traded to get third with Paul, but guess what? I probably would have still taken Emmanuel, the second pick, and he just broke his maiden, and he runs tomorrow in an allowance at Tampa, and if he doesn't run well, guess what? I mean, that's my second pick. That's my third overall pick, and that's it. And that's kind of where I was at, though, because it's like, well, you're either picking horses you really don't like that are at least have ran in stakes, or you're picking horses that you're hoping blossom into something. So that, yeah, you're right. There really isn't those kind of couple horses that you can put your hat on. I mean, God, I would have loved to have the second pick last year, but you know, that was easy. You know, you knew you were getting one of two beasts, and both of them were. So we'll get into the recap and kind of go through some of these Derby prospects, and we got some rapid fire to talk about. Not a lot going on this weekend in terms of stakes action. We're kind of in that lull. This is the unofficial lull of the pause button, so to speak, with the Derby, as we're kind of now preparing for the Pegasus, which is, you know, just coming up here in a couple of weeks. Yep. So the Pegasus is kind of the focus here the next couple of weeks, and then we shift back to, you know, obviously February gets things really rolling for the Derby Trail. So we've got a couple Derby preps knocked out, Pegasus, and then we'll be back on the trail. Pegasus, man, we haven't talked much about the Pegasus just because, you know, the Derby stuff, but I mean, the Knicks Go Life is Good matchup is really, I mean, I feel like it's going to, I don't know. I hope it's not like the arrogant California Chrome matchup. So we were all amping up for that. And of course, Chrome didn't run a step that day.
Yeah.
As we've gotten closer to that, are you like, I know it's been a minute since the Breeders' Cup, but how are you kind of planning on playing that one?
Well, that's a great question. I'm trying to delay making a decision on that one. Two horses, obviously, that are very, very good. Where I lay right now, though, it's Life is Good, kind of feels like the arrogant, and Knicks Go kind of feels like the California Chrome. Like, if you remember California Chrome, it was his last race, and you know, it seems like arrogant was the up and comer, where Life is Good seems like the up and comer, that they're planning for a big 4-year-old season with him. I think it's Life is Good is kind of the one to beat. I think, believe it or not, and it's hard to imagine a horse being faster early than Knicks Go, but I think Life is Good is, and I think then it's just the key of, can he extend that speed out to 1 1/8? And if he can, I don't know that Knicks Go can go get him. And if they go head to head, I think it's going to be bad for both of them. So it's kind of going to be a rider's race as well, where they fall on that first turn and up the backside. But right now, I'm leaning Life is Good in that spot.
You good? All right, just go ahead.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. I kind of lean towards the Life. I think that's a pretty good analogy in terms of comparing Life is Good to arrogant. That he kind of feels like the now horse versus Knicks Go, who obviously doesn't have anything to prove, so to speak.
Yep, for sure.
So
he doesn't. Yeah, he's the one that he could prove a ton with a win over Knicks Go. And really, what does Knicks Go have to gain in this race? That's the other thing about it. What do you think, Cohen? What does Knicks Go have to gain in this Pegasus?
What do you think Knicks Go has to gain by running in that race? What do you think? You like Knicks Go or Life is Good? Life is Good. Yeah, see, he knows. I mean, nothing else needed. Knicks Go, You're done. This is it. Sorry, Life is Good. All right, let's get to today's show before my house falls apart here. We look at the 2022 Kentucky Derby prep calendar, as well as some of the top Derby prospects right now. Then we get some rapid fire selections for the stakes action this weekend at Gulfstream, Oaklawn, Santa Anita, and Turfway. Let's go. What do you need? What do you need?
Oh, man.
Stop.
This is the funniest one.
Guys, go play. Yeah, it is bring your kid to work. It's bring your kid to work day every day.
Bring your kid to work day. That's right.
Where's Here. Hang on a sec.
Oh, now I'm split in the middle here. Hold on. Let me take this off. That's just too weird looking here. There we go. Yeah, bring your kid to work day for Jared. So yeah, he's in the background. I'm not quite sure what he's doing back there. But yeah, we're gonna talk Derby today. Gonna be pretty good. Little Derby talk here. Like I said, a little bit of a lull the next 2 weeks. The LeCompte Stakes is coming up the 22nd. That's always a big one, and we'll see if Epicenter maybe can rise to the occasion there in the LeCompte. That's going to be a real big race to see what he could do. I may just, well, there's Jared. He's going to be back. Hold on. I was going to say, I may just share the screen and go through it with you guys, but he'll be back soon. LeCompte, and then the Southwest runs the same day as the Pegasus. That rounds out January. So, and then we really get going. There's actually a good horse running at Gulfstream Saturday too, turf horse. So we haven't seen since last year's Pegasus. That I think people are going to be excited to bet as well. So should be good. Nope, there he is. He's back.
He's back. Send him outside. They're shoveling snow right now. So
yeah, we did get snow today.
Yeah.
That didn't sound good.
It's probably the TV fell off. They probably shot a bow and arrow off the.
That honestly did not sound good.
What's funny is, like as a dad, like you know all the sounds. So I'm like, yeah, that was the water bottle that fell. That was fine. Like I know we're good. And then you wait to hear. Do you hear any screaming? No. All right, they're alive. So
yeah, they're fine.
They're good. Yep. All right. Let's see. Let's bring up the Kentucky Derby. Let's bring up the prospects right now that you have on racingdudes.com on the Kentucky Derby page. We get an idea of what you have ranking right now. Let me pull that off. All right. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're 1 week into the 2022 season. Of course, that means all the 2-year-olds are now 3-year-olds, and they are on the Kentucky Derby Trail. We've had some preps already this year, of course, kicking things off to start the year. So I wanted to, we're kind of in that lull we talked about in the opening. We're in that lull a little bit where we're not really to the big preps, or really even like the semi-big preps, and we're definitely kind of, you can't. It's hard to get other than the sham that's kind of produced over the last couple of years. It's hard to get real excited about any of these preps this early in the year because we kind of know that song and dance and what that, it really doesn't come out to be a lot, but we are kind of prepping for the big races coming up. So let's take a look first. You go to racingdudes.com on the Kentucky Derby page. Just click the Kentucky Derby on the menu at racingdudes.com. Halterman does a top 20 ranking every week, updates it obviously after the big races each weekend. So let's take a look. Let's kind of go through these a little bit, and we'll also talk a little bit about some of these upcoming races or any of these horses that are on this list that have upcoming races. So Smile Happy is pointing to the Southwest Stakes. That's your number one horse. Southwest for the Holy Bull. So you got really Smile Happy, Corniche, and then you've got the 3 spot all the way shot up there, Newgrange, who just won the Sham for Bob Baffert. Tell me about your top 3 and how you feel about that. And Epicenter, I'll include Epicenter because that's a new shooter, so to speak, that definitely was not on the list a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I definitely think, it's a helter-skelter top 4, let's call it, but I think it's the logical top 4 right now. Smile Happy, 2 for 2. We'll see this horse come back. Like I said, they're saying Southwest Stakes or Holy Bull Stakes, possibly even the Sam F. Davis. So it's going to be one of those. We'll kind of see where he arrives next. I think he's a horse that's back breezing and doing pretty well. So we'll kind of see. He, like I said, he's a weak number 1, but he is number 1 nonetheless. Corniche, he's at WinStar right now, and I think he's getting ready to come back soon. I would think San Felipe would probably be where we see him. That's probably where we'll see my number 3 horse, Newgrange, as well. Both of them, I think, are probably on target for that race. You look at Newgrange, he's kind of like Life is Good was last year. Broke the maiden at Del Mar, went to the Sham, And then Life is Good went to the San Felipe right after that. I think Newgrange will follow that as well. And then Epicenter, I expect to see him in the LeCompte Stakes coming up in a couple of weeks. I think that's January 22nd. January 22nd. That race is scheduled for. He was really impressive in the Gun Runner. If you're unfamiliar with the Gun Runner, it's a new Derby prep that they added to the Fairgrounds, stake schedule. And so he won that one. And now we'll see if he can kind of do it again. LeCompte, you would assume it would be a lot of similar horses in that one.
With Newgrange, he kind of feels like that he's that new. I think he might be. I mean, we'll see what Corniche is, but he might end up being the best Bob Baffert, at least because the Sham has been. We saw like last year with Life is Good, and then Medina Spirit was like the also, and that kind of feels like what Rockefeller was a little bit. Is like we kind of going into it, maybe you weren't sure. Afterwards, you're like, okay, that was very clear. Bob Baffert. Newgrange is the horse he really likes. That horse is dominant. Rockefeller, whatever. So it kind of feels like maybe, that may be a disrespect to Medina Spirit because he may not even be that good. And then, of course, we saw the year before that. I believe it was the year before that with Authentic, right? So you kind of start to see some of his good horses in the Sham. So that's kind of the one stakes, I feel like, the one prep that early in the season you can at least kind of take a little bit of stock into in terms of what it's shaping up for. So yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see Newgrange and Corniche match up. Hopefully it is in the San Felipe. What about Jack Christopher? So Jack Christopher's a horse heading towards the Gotham. He's ranked fifth on your list here. And we also don't know how far he wants to go.
He's kind of a placeholder that will start be like getting passed once horses actually look decent. That's kind of how I look at him. Obviously he'll shoot right back up the rankings if he comes back healthy and he looks like as impressive as he did as a 2-year-old. You're right. You just don't really know what he is going 2 turns because we haven't seen it. He was a blowout win at a mile, so that was good. But we'll see on Jack Christopher what he could do as they progress down the trail there. But
kidding Blippi for you.
They were gone for 2 minutes. That was pretty good.
Go. Scram. I heard the commotion and I heard the ruckus and it was getting closer and closer to the door and I thought, uh-oh, he's about to be interrupted.
Hey, can I have my phone?
You can't watch the phone and listen to Blippi at the same time, dude.
It's hard to have two little ones that age by themselves.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask for them to keep themselves busy for any extended period of time. So, so I'll go through the next 5 here. Slow Down Andy, Doppelganger, Mo Donegal, American Icon jumped up there on the list, and then Emmanuel. So 2 Todd Pletchers, 2 very similar Todd Pletchers. Of course, Emmanuel broke his maiden a little bit earlier than American Icon. Kind of was the big, recent in the fantasy league was the big claim. So Doppelganger, another Bob Baffert. Sled on Andy was the horse that upset Messier, of course, in the charity. O'Donegal, Pletcher horse. So you got 3 Pletchers, 8 through 10. To talk about those horses.
Yeah, I feel like American Icon and Emmanuel are just 2 horses that they could be good, they could not. It's just we'll have to find out the next start. Emmanuel hopefully runs Friday at Tampa, and let's see how he does, and then we can kind of judge him. American Icon, I think they looked very similar, him and Emmanuel both. Another one of Pletcher's nice runners, Dean's List, who won on debut, is back Saturday. Kind of more of a sprinter pedigree, but maybe he can kind of jump on the list here with a nice performance. Yeah, we'll just see what they are. These Pletcher horses in the past, they win their maidens and then they go on to big things. And then last year, some of them struggled after they broke their maiden. So it's just kind of a wait and see kind of placeholders there as well. Doppelganger, same thing with Bob Baffert. Impressive at Los Alamitos. Sometimes his Los Al runners progress. Sometimes they don't. So we'll just have to see how that goes.
Yeah, he looked good. I thought Doppelganger. That was one I kind of I liked a lot. I think that was on the same card, wasn't it? As Messier and the charity. That was a little bit before that day.
Yep.
So you kind of wondered if, okay, is Doppelganger the one you want out of those two, Messier? And that talking about, and by the way, Emmanuel, I brought it up in the opening. Emmanuel runs, if you're listening to this after the fact, he runs today at Tampa. So in a 1 mile 70-yard allowance race, I believe it's race 2.
Yep.
And so you're gonna want to watch that. Obviously, a big. It's not. You might say, "Oh, Tampa." This is a very standard move for Pletcher. With his good 3-year-olds, a lot of times bringing a horse over to Tampa. Of course, it's nearby Gulfstream, and get it, running a race. Whether it means they're prepping the horse to run Sam F. Davis, or if it just means they wanted the horse to stretch out and couldn't get a race at Gulfstream Park. So definitely want to watch, see how that goes. Messier, Rattle and Roll, and Make It Big. To me, and then Zandon and Papa Cap. Here's where you're starting to get. I mean, it already is, but this is where you're starting to get a little dicey.
You're starting to fall off a little bit. We'll start with Messier. I want to kind of forgive him for that. But boy, I Slow Down Andy's not a great horse. We know that, but it's kind of like, yeah, he might be able to bounce back. It's Bob Baffert. They had high hopes for him. His loss in the Los Al kind of reminded me of when McKenzie lost the race. He ended up getting elevated to first place out of a bad DQ, but he lost that Los Al, and then he ran a lot better afterwards. So Messier could do that. Rattle and Roll has really looked nice at Keeneland, but can he bounce back off injury? Will McPeak have him ready to roll? All that kind of stuff's question mark. And then, like I said, it does kind of get a little iffy. Make It Big. I mean, he won the Springboard Mile. He was not impressive. Zandon, we'll see. The rims, it hasn't really produced much. Papa Cap, not really impressive. Kind of hits the board in the big races, but never was really a factor. And then you kind of take flyers if you want to go down to the last part with Simplification. He earned a 90 buyer for his win in the Holy Bull. For his win in the Mucho Macho Man, but he hasn't been consistent and he hasn't really faced much. So we'll see there. Dash Attack, 2 wins in the slop. The horse is by Munnings, so that makes a lot of sense. Don't know how he'll do on a dry track. I kept Rockefeller, your horse, at 18 there, Jared. It wasn't great, but we kind of saw a horse last year, Medina Spirit, where it's like he would run in preps and you're like, yeah, he's okay. And then he won the Derby. So I don't think he's Medina Spirit, but I wasn't ready to throw him out just yet. Courvoisier, I mean, couldn't have finished any slower for a victory in the Jerome, but has a win in a 1 1/8, has a great pedigree. Maybe he gets better as they go longer. And Oviatt Class, kind of that first horse that's like, yeah, he might just be the one that hits the board in all the big races.
Yeah, with Rockefeller, I kind of, even though he's like banging on the door. Rockefeller, I do agree with you. I think you have 2 things. One, you got to be careful with Baffert when you just throw one out, like when he kind of a situation that it kind of looked like he wanted the winner to win, right? It kind of seemed like the race was really set up for Rockefeller to kind of run second. And 2 is, where else are you going to put? You know what I mean? Like the bottom half, like who cares? Like he could be 18 or he could be 38. They're all kind of the same down there.
He kind of reminds me of Spielberg a little bit. I hate to say that for your sake because I know he's on the team, but he's got like a lot of flash in the pedigree and the ownership group, and he usually lures in a good jockey like Pratt rode him, but it's just like, I don't know if he's that good. But you know what? Spielberg got second in the Southwest last year, so you just can't ever really count his out as long as they're within the realm of competition in these races.
How about this? I mean, you got this scenario shaping up here. Bob Baffert can't run in the Derby. We'll see what happens there. McPeak all of a sudden's got a new prospect every week, it feels like. Smile Happy being the one. And then, by the way, you're not the only one that's got him ranked very highly. And for good reason. Rattle and Roll, another one. And, of course, Dash Tech, who kind of showed up last week. So are we going to a scenario where it's like we're going to have like the cleanest Derby ever and McPeak all of a sudden has got like a bunch of prospects. Del Roman's in there by the time.
No, would be my guess on that question. I don't know. We'll see. It is pretty crazy that McPeak's got 3 runners here, and they all have looked pretty good. And with Dale Romans, funny you mentioned him. I follow the workout reports at Gulfstream pretty closely. His horses are working out well right now. The Giant Game supposedly had a great workout. So, hey, call it crazy. Keep an eye on him.
I don't want to hear that talk. I mean, I will call you crazy. Like, I just by pure principle, I cannot. Although it would be funny if we had like 4 Roman or 4 McPeaks and like a Romans and like, I don't know, like, Chad Brown as a favorite of the race. And it's just like, what? Okay. So who knows really? And that's the thing, like and that's like something's got to happen. We'll pivot from here now to kind of the preps, and something's got to happen, because how long can and I know if you guys haven't listened to this, go listen to Magic and Halter talking about this, the Bob Baffert situation on our YouTube channel. Like, you're now in January, you're not seeing any of the horses switch ownerships or ownership switch trainers. You're not seeing any decisions made from anyone, other than the fact that they keep running in the normal races and they keep not getting points. So something's going to have to happen. And so it's like, what if we get to a point where it's just not going to happen? So all of a sudden, or if it does happen and Bob Baffert, all of a sudden they give him all the points that he would have gotten, and everyone shoots down the list, and here all his horses shoot up. It's the longer, it's one of those things. You got to like, the longer this thing waits to unfold, the worse it's going to get. Either way.
You hit it right on the head, and that's why we definitely did the video, because it's just like, holy hell, I don't know what's going to happen, because now we're in January and we still don't have an answer to what some of these ownership groups might do. Are they just going to stick it out and skip the race altogether? I mean, with each passing day, that becomes a situation that could happen. We're not that far away from the 50-point races, and those are basically Kentucky Derby win and you're in races.
Right.
Are you going to run a horse under Bob Baffert's name and not get a win and you're into the Kentucky Derby? I mean, is that where we're at? To me, there has to be a solution on Bob's end. It's like, okay, he's suing and they're getting to run by then. If not, then it really becomes the owner's decision. Okay, I'm going to just stick by him and we'll go to the Preakness, or okay, we're going somewhere else. I mean, we're a month away from, you really have to make that call. You should have, in my opinion, if you were real serious with the Derby, already have made it, but you're going to have to make it real soon.
Well, and don't forget, this year with the Oaklawn schedule being a little different, the Rebels February 26th, and that's really, there's the Stars the 19th, February 19th. Can't imagine Bob Baffert having any in that race, but you got to imagine that he'll have one in the Rebel, at least one, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's really the first big 50-point race, like you're saying, a win and you're in, essentially for these horses. And so February 26th, which is like a month, like 6 weeks away, Mm-hmm. That's not, like you say, something's got to be done by then. You would think at least some sort of plan. Because I don't know, and I get the whole argument, like you guys talked about, not really argument, but the case of, well, maybe they just bypass it. Like they don't, like the Derby doesn't have the luster, and maybe they just, it's like, I can't get them to run in it, and who cares? Like they want Bob Baffert to train their horse, and they'll run the Preakness. I don't buy it. I still think that the Derby is, I mean, these owners want to go to the Derby. They want to win the Derby. And by the way, I've seen some comments about this. Like, it's not like he can just switch to Barnes or something and let him run and then switch back after. I mean, that's not going to work this time. So, and by the way, he can't even run. Like, even if he's banned from Churchill. Like, let's make sure we remember that as well. It's not like just about the preps. So he can't even run a horse at the race. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be like the ultimate horse racing thing if they decided, you know what, we've lifted the ban at Churchill, but we're not going to give back any of the points, and they make that decision at like in May or May 1st.
Yeah. I mean, your guess is as good as mine when it comes to this kind of stuff. That's the thing. It's so unprecedented. We've never really had to do this. We have seen him get into Naira when they were kind of, cutting him off, and then he sued and he was able to do it. So maybe he does that again. But, your point on the Derby, I totally agree that I think these guys want it. But, man, each passing day, there's owners that still are with him that have, like, highly regarded Derby candidates. It's kind of telling me that they don't care as much about it. I mean, so I'm with you. I think it's like just a crazy thought, but we may find out that this is reality. And there's no better way of finding out than just here's the proof. You got a great horse that can win the Derby, and we're saying, nah, we'll skip and wait for the Preakness. And that'll be fascinating if that happens.
It would be in a lot of ways. One, it would make the race a lot more interesting because you don't have to worry about Bob Baffert, and then two, what does that mean for the future of the race? Like
exactly.
That's a big thing too. So it just no shocker. We're still sitting here waiting to find out. And like we're right, or like we always do. It feels like we're just kind of gonna basically just make a decision and make it up as they go. Like, oh, this is going to happen. And then we're either going to end up with like 6 Bob Bafferts in the race. And that's like going to be like, pouring salt in the wound, or you're not going to have any. Kind of feels like there's nothing in between. So not to talk all about Baffert, let's talk a little bit real quickly. Is because, you're right, Jason. What's worse, you hear them coming to interrupt, or it's dead silent. Both are worse, by the way. But honestly, the silence is worse. My doors are locked. But still, like, the quieter it is, like, I'll walk out and they're like hanging from the chandelier. That's the kind of thing. So, like, we got to speed this along. I know that the San Felipe and the Rebel and all these races are important, but when do you think? What race is it? I mean, is it the first 50 point? What race do you think that we're going to start to get some sort of sense of normalcy in terms of this is a star, this is a legit horse, this is like, if I asked you who's your pick to win the Kentucky Derby, I'm going to guess you don't have a choice right now, and if you had to give me one, you're not going to feel good about it. So when do you think we're going to start to feel good about something here?
Honestly, I've always said the Derby Trail doesn't start until the Southwest Stakes. That's when it really, 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 truly starts. That just feels like the official start of it all. And so that is on Pegasus Day on the 29th. And the reason I say it isn't just because, now we're into the heavy hitter here in the Southwest, even though we usually get a decent horse in it, but it's the kind of the start of the every week. Now we have a prep. So, you go the next week, the Withers, the Holy Bull, it just goes on and on and on from there. So the Southwest is when it really starts, when we really start to buckle down, in my opinion. And then, you just go, and there's a few weeks later, then there's the Risen Star sitting there, first 50-point race. The Rebels now in February because of a schedule change for Oaklawn. So, February, it really, really will get going. And that's, anytime you're in a Kentucky Derby, a prep race, and you win it and you're in the race, in the Derby, which is essentially what the 50-point race is, that's serious. That's earning a shot to win the Kentucky Derby. That's when, all the gloves are taken off, and it's time for the big boys to start showing up.
Right. Yeah. That's, then of course you get towards the end of this thing, and it's weird to me that the Arkansas Derby is, I guess they kind of have evened that out a little bit. The fact that I guess it's the gap between the Arkansas Derby and the Rebel that's weird for me, but it is obviously, it makes a little bit more sense. April 2nd, April 9th, those are your big dates that in terms of really the 100-point races. Of course, you had the Louisiana Derby March 26th and the UAA Derby same day, 100-point races. Louisiana Derby. Louisiana Derby last year produced Hot Rod Charlie, and of course, Hot Rod was a very prominent horse all year long on the Derby trail. So, and it feels like the Louisiana, that circuit is fairly strong again this year, where you're probably going to see a bunch of runners throughout that between Brad Cox and Asmussen and whoever. So it definitely feels like that, the Louisiana Derby. I still don't know. Like, I don't know what it's going to take for me. I feel like, do you think that, and I've heard this question asked before from from different shows. But do you think that the Derby winner has, we'll say, won a race yet?
Oh, I hate this question because all logic is yes. Samich asked me this. I said, "Well, a Curse of Apollo, 1882." I mean, yes, yes.
But I'm at least saying they've ran. So I'm allowing the possibility they've ran as 2-year-olds. They just haven't won, or they're still maidens right now.
Samich said, "If I give you 3-1 on no, would you take it?" And I said yes. 3-1, I would take it in this year's crop with all the question marks we have. Even money, I would take yes. They've already started, but if you're going to give me odds, I'm taking no. Because it has a feeling to me, Jared, of they're all going to kind of just lump in together, and we got a shit show of a Derby, and we've seen those before. That's not anything new. Or, and I think this is very possible too, one of these, or maybe two, are going to develop, and they're going to jump up and they're going to run that 102 buyer. And then we're all going to go, well, shit, he ran a 102 buyer, and the next best is a 92. We're going to have a 2-1 favorite in the Derby this year. One of those two things are going to happen. Last year, we kind of had a lot of horses that were kind of mixed in and were pretty good. I don't see a lot of pretty good horses in this one. Like we're going to have an average crop or an average bunch with one really good horse.
I hate to say it. It might be like we were looking for a Rock Your World type horse at the end, where it's like he shoots up out of nowhere, even though we were like dead set against him in the Derby, but still, like, he popped up at the last second, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, maybe that's what we're looking for this year, where all of a sudden, boom, here comes a horse that you're like, well, finally we saw something. And then you're going to be stuck with the decision of, do I go with this, like, kind of the decent sort of shitty horse that I know what he's going to run, or do I try to run with this, or, try to go with the horse that just flashed?
Well, I think if somebody flashes, but at least they have a foundation of they've ran on the dirt before, and it's not their second dirt race ever is a Kentucky Derby and things like that, then that's okay. We can't just look for like a King Guillermo. It would be another example of one that just, wow, he sucked, and then out of nowhere he ran fantastic. Like we got if something kind of pops that he's got a foundation and then he pops with a big number, it's like, okay. That's what I'm looking for personally. I don't want another Rock Your World, although he was pretty easy to go against in that race. So there was that.
I think is Jim. Are you hating on the Arkansas Derby a little bit? 3 Arkansas winners have won the Derby.
Well, I mean the Derby's not the only thing either. They've won a lot of Preaknesses and a lot of Belmonts as well.
And just it's a highly productive race moving forward, and it brings in a lot of good horses. You had horses like Super Saver who didn't win.
Who didn't win the Arkansas Derby and won the
Kentucky Derby. So it produces it sometimes is a very good, very good race in terms of just.
It is what it is, and it is a very strong series for producing Triple Crown race winners. That's what it is. Yeah, I agree.
yeah. There's a reason why the best horses ship and point to Arkansas Derby.
Yeah,
time and time again.
Sometimes with Oaklawn here lately, the best races the best of the sequence has not been the Arkansas Derby.
Yeah.
Last year the best horse that ran there was Essential Quality. He was in the Southwest. So it's strange how that has definitely changed over the years. Where when we first started going, they all ran in the series. The big winners ran in all 3 of the races.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You're almost guaranteed that you're gonna between the Rebel. I'll throw in the Southwest, I guess, but the Southwest Rebel and the Arkansas Derby, you're gonna get one like super powered horse. You just are every year because of the money that's in it. Obviously, a lot of times the timing of it for some of these trainers. So, yeah, I agree. It is what it is. All right. So we'll go back to the Derby here in the next couple of weeks, of course, on to the Pegasus. Maybe we'll have another hidden scroll, Pegasus Day, right? can only hope, right?
Or that other overrated horse. God, what was his name last year? Jeez. Brennan Walsh had him.
Yeah.
Terrible horse.
Oh God, what was his name?
Everybody went nuts.
He was a
Gosh.
big claim for everybody. Damn,
Yeah.
it's like on the tip of my tongue.
Started with an M, didn't it? I can't believe I forgot him.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
I could see him. Big bay horse. Won next out. Won at an allowance at Gulfstream, and then I think went to New York and got his ass kicked. And it went downhill from there. Let me look at the New York race real quick. No, not Rock Your World. He was Brennan Walsh. He broke his maiden on Pegasus Day. Let's see. Boy, let's see what race that would have been. The Wood. He went up to the Wood. I think he was the favorite.
Oh, Prevalence.
Yes.
Yeah,
Prevalence.
Yeah, Prevalence. Yeah, I remember that.
I think what did he get in the Wood? He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was sixth. Sixth as the 3-1. He was a second choice. Yeah, Nick got it there too. Prevalence. Yeah. So that's that kind of shows you. Yeah, that I think the eyes of the racing world are on that card, and we just romanticize anything we see that day. Although I will defend the hidden scroll thing. That was an unbelievable performance that day for him. That was freakish.
Just a weird horse. Weird story for that guy because I do think the talent was there. I just don't know he was ever mentally a very smart horse.
No.
Obviously, it was a freakish performance, no doubt. And it kind of seemed it seemed impossible that the horse, I mean, maybe not win the Kentucky Derby, but it's like there's no way this horse isn't really good.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very good. So
no.
All right. So yeah, we'll be back with more Derby here the next couple weeks.
All right. We got to fly through these. It's too quiet and something's going on back there.
I know. We gotta bring him in at the end of the show. Once we have this thing wrapped up, we gotta bring him in and see what we'll take bets of what they've been doing. And,
I like that idea. Let's give everybody the picks, and then we'll find out what's been going on back there.
After all, it is a betting show, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We'll see what's going on. All right.
I'll be precise with the commentary here.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, time for rapid fire presented by let's do Cohen and Cooper. They were gonna bring it into this time. You know what? They've been a big part of this show tonight, and you know what? They might as well sponsor this segment because chances are we'll hear from them again sometime in this show. So Cohen and Cooper, my little boys, thank you for sponsoring Rapid Fire. And if you're listening to me and you hear your name multiple times, usually they're watching. Like if my parents are here or if they're with their mom, like they'll be watching and they're like, hey, I'll get a text. Hey, they want you to wave. So chances are they don't give a shit about what they're tonight. They're not. They can hear. They're here. So
yeah.
They're not listening at all, but normally they want. So if you hear your name, Cohen and Cooper, come in here and give us a pick. So let's kick things off. We got 4 stakes we're going to talk about. 1 Oaks prep, actually. So we'll get to that in a second. But we'll start at Gulfstream Park. These are all on Saturday. Let's go to race 8, the Tropical Turf Stakes. It's grade 3 for 4-year-olds and up, going 1 mile on the turf. Halterman field of 7 lines up for this one. Really, it's between the 4 value proposition for Chad Brown, and Todd Pletcher has the 1 Largent making the return. Haven't seen this horse since the Pegasus last year at 9.25 on the rail. I think, to me, I mean, you can make your case otherwise, but I really just had to sit there and try to figure out which horse I was going to roll with because both seem very possible as winners.
I absolutely agree. I think those are the 2 you got to beat in this race. I went to the rail with number 1 Largent. I think he's going to be a pretty darn tough. I think he's just a little bit better of a horse than value proposition overall. I think he's got a little more talent. The big question mark is the layoff, but here's the positive if you're worried about that. A, it's Pletcher. That's always a positive. B, he had a layoff of 247 days much earlier in his career. He came back and won by 5 after that layoff. A little bit later on in his career, he had a layoff of 123 days, not quite as long, obviously. He came back and won a stakes off that layoff. So I feel pretty good about it. This horse, boy, tough luck loser, just got beat right at the last by his stablemate, Colonel Liam, in the Pegasus World Cup Turf last year. I think he comes back strong here. He won the Fort Lauderdale last year. I think this is a really good spot for him in a grade 3 spot, or a grade 3 race, the Tropical Turf here. The distance of a mile, horse has won at a mile before as well. I think he's ready to go. I'm going to go Largent on top.
Yeah, that's where I went to. I think the way this horse has been working, and then also the fact that Pletcher is so good off the bench anyways. And you got to like the fact that Sias has rode this horse. That was kind of the horse or the jockey that rode Largent early in the career, and then obviously had in the last 3, and now is back. So obviously, and by the way, he can ride. I mean, I know value proposition for Chad Brown, Naira Ortiz, but Luis Saez has rode value proposition the last 2 times. So you kind of got a feeling like he's on Largent. I like that. And you're talking about a horse that you're right. I mean, he probably should have won. And of course, Colonel Liam came back off of that race and won again. Probably could have won the Pegasus. And, you're talking about a race that 3 rattles off 3 in a row. And let's not forget the Pegasus. He was 4-1. So it's not like it's like he was like some huge shot. I mean, this is a good horse. Just easy to forget because it's been a minute. Loves Gulfstream Park. 6 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds. This distance, 2 wins, 3 starts. I really like this horse as well. My only hesitation was I am picking the horse on top, but my only kind of like pause was, man, like if he was doing that good, would you not be in the Pegasus?
Maybe just coming back a little too quick or not too quick, but coming back a little too tough for him. You know what I mean? Like, do you want to take him off a layoff? Go Pegasus World Cup and then running it again with no race in between.
Right.
I don't know. I hear you. Also, this race is only a mile. Maybe it's a prep for the Pegasus.
It could be. Also Colonel Liam is probably going to be in the Pegasus as well. So maybe Pletcher's like, well, I've got that. So and you're right. Maybe he's like, hey, if he runs really well, then maybe, it could be possible to see Largent in there. So, and in terms of how I value proposition for me, I just don't trust, frankly, I don't necessarily not like the horse. I just don't quite trust him good enough to win here. And I just think the 1's a little bit better. So that's ultimately the reason why I went with the 1 as well. All right, let's go to Oaklawn Park for the Pippin Stakes. That's right, the Pippin. It's Saturday, race 8, 150K, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 1 mile. Field of 7 lined up here. 5-2 on a couple here, then 9-5 on the inside horse Coach for Brad Cox. 5-2 on Josie, 5-2 on Miss Bigley. Past that, it's kind of a wide open event in terms of competitiveness. 20-1 on the 4. We'll go ahead and toss that one out. That's probably the winner. Halter, what do you think of this one?
I always when I see that horse Coach, I always think of that guy that says "Call me Coach" down at Oaklawn.
Yeah.
You know that old dude?
Oh yeah, I know.
He always comes up to us and he's like, "I've got a surefire winner. He can't lose."
I hope he's doing all right.
Okay.
I haven't seen that guy in a while.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen him in a long time. Anyway, Coach for me on the rail. Listen, I liked this horse a little bit last time out. Came off of a layoff. This horse always had a ton of hype last year and just never could quite live up to it. A lot of seconds, a lot of thirds, a lot of like, well, she didn't run bad, but she just wasn't great. I thought she looked really good last time out over this track. Like I said, off the layoff, big win by 2 lengths. If this was a quote unquote normal Pippin where Oaklawn usually has some pretty good runners, I don't know, maybe I'd be hesitant, but I just don't like anybody else in this race very much. So I did go with the favorite here, number 1, Coach.
I hate this race. Let's be completely honest. So I'm going with I understand why you're going coach. I don't like that horse enough to pick on top. I'm going to go with a little bit of a price and just a little bit of a just gut play, really. I'm going to go with the 3, WW Fitzy. And here's why.
Love it.
Diodoro off the claim, right? Gets this horse now. I'm not going to say one thing or another, but we all know Diodoro off the claim, pretty good. And this horse is capable. Like you look at some of the past races in, this of last year at Oaklawn, ran really well. The speedster horse showed speed, has numbers that are just as good as coach. Adds blinkers. You have Diodoro. You get Cohen. I think this horse is going to go out to the lead, and I just don't think maybe the horse isn't very good. And this is obviously a step up in competition, but like in a field that you don't like, and there's enough unknowns with this horse where I think I'm going to at least give her a shot and try to steal this thing at a big price. So I like the 3, WW Fitzy.
That was my long shot pick on Magic and I's video. So I'm with you. And you said, I don't have to say anything else. You said it perfectly.
Hey, you know what? The fact that you're on board with that one, I think we might want to go in on that one together. Let's just pound that horse,
dude. I'm telling you that the Oaklawn long shots on those videos have been winning. So
all I'm saying is this and maybe she doesn't win or if she fades hard. And it's like, but at least I feel confident enough to I don't feel confident in any of these really, but I at least have enough confidence that, hey, the signs are all kind of there, what this horse is probably going to do. And at least I'm going to get my bang for my buck, right? Like she's going to give it a run. We're going to see how, you know what I mean? Like I feel enough confidence about that to where I could take a swing at a big price. So, and a lot of times with these long shots, you're just hoping you don't know what they're going to do. This one, I at least feel like I know what she's going to do. We'll see if she's good enough. And maybe she is. All right, let's go to Santa Anita. Race 8, the Santa Anita Stakes, grade 2. $200K for Phillies 3-year-olds going 7 furlongs. It is a Kentucky Oaks prep race. 10-4-2-1 for your top 4 finishers. Field of 6 lines up here. 8-5 Under the Stars. 9-5 on Big Switch. Under the Stars trained by Hall of Famer Bob Baffert, who obviously cannot earn points for this either. So, Halterman, I did this preview earlier with Magic. I'm interested to know what your thoughts are.
I'm not going to go against Bob Baffert right now at Santa Anita. I mean, he's winning every race he enters. I'll take Under the Stars. First 2 races wasn't bad either time. Looked decent. Wasn't too bad, but just got third. Last time out, man, this horse I thought kind of blossomed. I thought she kind of just kicked away from him. I think she's sitting on a big race, believe it or not, for old Bobby. So I think number 1 Under the Stars. I guess I like the rail horses all day on Saturday. I think she's going to be tough. I look forward to kind of get out towards the front and, try to take them, gate to wire, or at least just sit close in second and then pounce at the top of the stretch. Yeah,
this is my pick too. She seems like a clear standout on paper to me. Plus the fact that it's Bob Baffert and, like you say, hitting like at 43%, something like that at Santa Anita right now. It's just insane. So, the only thing is the horse that I am mildly interested in, the horse who beat her on debut, Awake at Midnight, for Doug O'Neill. I think that horse is interesting here, but I think the one's just a little bit better. So if I was playing like an exacta or something, I think pounding the one in the 5, Awake at Midnight, I like doing that, but there's really not a lot of value to be had here considering the small field. And you got to think the one's going to be pounded. I thought that last race, like you said, and the fact that, the horse loses on debut, but runs well. He enters her in a stakes right after that, gets beat by Ida, who's obviously very good. And then off of that comes and wins that maiden special weight impressively. To me, the longer, the better for her as well, even. So the 7 furlongs is not an issue. And like, she kind of seems like she might be pretty good. And she seems versatile enough to where they can do whatever they want with her. So I'm with you. Under the Stars. I like the 5 enough. Is there anyone else in here you like that if she falters? I mean, it's an Oaks prep, so.
I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel. I think Big Switch, 2 for 2, looked pretty darn good. This is a horse that she could pull the upset. Like, this isn't like a runaway looking winner under the stars. I think Big Switch could pull the upset. If you remember, you may not. I don't know if you were. Yeah, you were standing with us. This horse won on Breeders' Cup Day. We were standing right there on the rail, and we said, "Oh, that's why she's called Big Switch. She was big, like a really big horse." So, I was kind of impressed that day. She ran away from her stablemate, who had looked a little bit better than her going into that, and then this horse really improved and looked good. So, I think that's the second choice. And again, one's 8-5, one's 9-5. But if you want to try to beat Baffert, I think Big Switch could do it.
Yeah, that's an interesting horse for Sadler, a horse that debuted in August, didn't run again until that race in November, like you said. Now we haven't seen her since that race, and now it's been a little bit since we're going to see her here. Calbred, been facing other Calbred, so we'll see how this is, shaping up with. I mean, numbers wise, she's interesting. I'm just not sure I don't know. That was the one I was like, all right, I'm gonna play against her, and try to get that 5 in there. But I get it. She is interesting. If she wins this one, like she's been winning those last 2, then yes, she is very interesting in terms of the Oaks Trail. All right, let's wrap things up with this is a Halterman's Choice race here. Race 6 at Turfway Park, the Turfway Preview Stakes. 100K for 3-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs on the all-weather track, of course. And it's like the poor man's Macho Man Stakes in a way at Turfway. It's a prep for their kind of prep action coming up for the Derby Trail, which is they get points, but doesn't really produce much. But we have 9 horses that are going to try to be in this preview that's spelled wrong. And it's Kaylee's brother at 2-1, 5-2 on Nobles, 5-1 on Tricky, Red Labels, 5-1. Halterman, I'm sure you know all these horses. So what do you think?
Yeah, it was my pick. I think it's a really good race, honestly, as far as betting goes. I do. And by the way, it's not Nobles. It's No Balls. No Balls is the 2 horse. Come on. That's how I say it.
Well, he's a gelding, so
that's why I call him No Balls. He's my pick. The 2 horse No Balls is going to be the pick. Listen, his 3 races on the synthetic surface was a win at Presque Isle, a win in a stakes at Arlington, and then went back to running another stakes at Presque Isle. Got second by a nose, was very close. All those races were at distances similar to what we have today, at 6.5 furlongs. His 2 races where he didn't look very good were both at a mile and both in the turf. So sprinting on the synthetic, I'm going to go No Balls on top here. So yeah, I'm going No Balls all the way.
Well, you know what? As soon as you told me how to pronounce that, made my pick feel even better, because that's who I picked too. I thought it was Nobles. I was like, hey, but No Balls makes me just so sure this horse is going to run well. So
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong with the horse named No Balls? I mean, the horse is sired from Noble Mission, so that's why I thought it was Noble. Nobles, but no, I think No Balls makes a lot more sense because he's a gelding. I don't know. You kind of laid it out really why I don't love this race at all. So, but you're probably going to see some. Is there, from a guy that watches all these races, is there anything that you're looking for in a prep, so to speak, at Turfway Park?
Just the winner is what I'm looking for. I said no. I don't think No Balls or anybody else, for that matter, is going to win. I'm going to go. You know what? First Saturday in May.
First Saturday in May, he won't be there.
Yeah. Well, he might be in what's the Pat Day or something like that.
No Balls. I'd like to see No Balls there for sure.
Yeah, that's a horse we can all get behind.
Yeah, I mean, obviously to me, it just kind of seems like this is the horse that makes the most sense, and just from a paper standpoint, obviously. A very, very, very good jockey trainer combo as well, at hitting at 40%. this year. So yeah, I mean, not a lot to like there. And obviously, I think the way that where this horse has been running, it kind of feels like this is a race right in the horse's wheelhouse. So
Yep.
I don't know. I'm gonna watch. You gave me a reason to watch Turfway Park on Saturday night. How about that?
Can I give you another reason to watch it on Friday night?
Yeah, you can try.
There's a horse drafted in our league that's running there Friday night. Tawny Port, Real Dynasty has him. Brad Cox horse running an allowance Friday night at Turfway.
I can't. I don't know that that's a great sign that my horse is running Friday night at Turfway Park. If I have the horse in the fantasy league, but hey, at least the horse is running, right? So
yeah, he's running. I don't think. Let me pull this up real quick. I don't think he's even the favorite.
He's running and he has a name. That's two big things. So
yeah, he's the 7-2 favorite. He won by 6 lengths on debut at Turfway. So
okay. Well, he's staying there. He's staying there. Hey, you know what? I will say this: if he can get if he stays at Turfway and just keeps rocking, getting those points like from these bullshit prep races there, not be a bad draft pick whatsoever. So they've already got Newgrange, or he's got Newgrange, I guess. I forgot he's solo this year. So yeah, starting off strong. Just had to get rid of his partner, and he's starting off strong. All right, Turfway Park. You guys have to watch this race to see No Balls win this prep.
Oh man,
All right.
I told Magic, I said, God, I love the Derby Trail. It's just fun.
Here.
Because we get shit like this all the time.
Well, there's always that horse, and hopefully No Balls. It'd be amazing if No Balls won this thing, and someone would try to draft this or claim this horse. That would make my day.
Yeah, I hope that happens. Oh, you may have saw this on Twitter. I know you didn't watch it last night. One of the most gruesome looking injuries I've ever seen in any sports happened in wrestling last night. It was bad, but yeah, no broken bones. Which, if you watch the replay, I don't know.
I don't even need to see it. I know. I mean, no dislocation or just a bad dislocation. So I'm guessing a leg went off.
No, it's his arm. I mean, it went. It was bad.
Oh man. Okay, so Lincoln, the Montreal Screwjob, man. I talked to was that we were on a trip or something? I was like, dude, I watched this documentary on the Montreal Screwjob. Or I was like, I can't remember the name, and you're like, oh, the Montreal Screwjob, and you rattled off. I was like, yes, I was like, that's nuts. And I agree. And by the way, I was into wrestling a lot when I was younger, so I know. I just don't. It just doesn't do it for me now. But I'm not. I gave Halterman shit, but I get it. Yeah, the Montreal Screwjob is crazy. I'm gonna have to watch. Let me watch this. Is his name Ray Phoenix?
Yeah, Ray Phoenix. Type in Lucha Brother. Well, Ray Phoenix breaks arm. That's all you have to type in. Yeah, it's. Oh, let's get a live reaction.
Perfect.
Will you both miss Scammine? No. I will not. Will you?
Will I miss Gamine?
Yeah.
No. Oh God.
It's bad.
Oh, I can see how watching that you're like, dude, like, oh.
Heather was watching it too, and she was just horrified.
There's no part about that you're thinking he's gonna be that, like, that's not gonna be like just a massive broken bone.
After we were like, do you think he'll wrestle again? Type of thing. Like, that was just bad.
Yeah, damn, man.
Yeah. Really bad.
Off the ring too.
It's like he had his arm tucked. You gotta tuck your arm, and then it just kind of fell out, and it's bad.
What's a MJF shirt?
MJF, that's my shirt.
Better than you. And you, who is that? A wrestler?
Yeah, a wrestler.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, MJF. Jesus. He's you would like him, I think. He's a bad guy.
All right. let's wrap this up. I gotta go
Yeah.
check the damage.
Yep, let's do it.
It's supposed to be a short show, but they've been good. I mean, too good. So,
We'll see.
all right. So all the time we have, check us out at racingnews.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our products page. Click the Get Racing News premium button in the menu at racingnews.com to learn more. Of course, we have sports picks as well, so go check that out at the website at racingnews.com/sports. The Pegasus Guide coming out soon, so stay tuned for the Pegasus Guide. Stay tuned for a lot of Pegasus content. So we're going to kind of pivot from the Derby Trail, Derby preps, and things like that, and get into the Pegasus and really try to do the best we can to make everyone some money on that card, whether it be the Pegasus, the Turf, or any of the undercard races as well as those start to shape up. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a big one. It's really going to be, I think it's going to be a huge Pegasus. And obviously with that matchup building, you really, and I think given the fact that they're both, I mean, you're going to get a quote unquote fair price, right? Because they're both going to be bet hard and you can get a pick 'em there. So I think that'll be interesting as well. Remember, we're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram and Facebook. You check out all episodes of Blinkers Off by visiting the podcast page at racingnews.com. Of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Captivate. Or you can watch all these episodes again on our YouTube page, along with all kinds of content that we have coming up. All right. So should we ask? Should we get your comments in? What do you think? I did hear them, by the way. I just heard. Well, I heard one voice. So
Okay.
that doesn't mean the other one might be tied up. What do you think they've been doing? We're gonna bring them in here.
Listen, I think they're just checking. They're just kind of chilling out, watching the phones, watching. I don't know what they're watching. That's just gonna be my guess.
I know them too well, so I know what they've probably been doing. But I'm not going to give.
They're good boys. They've done none of it. Bring them in.
Hey, Colin.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Hey.
Oh, Dennis doesn't know what's going on. Jared is alone with his kids, and he just did a podcast with them in the house, just rummaging around. That's what's going on. They've been really good. They interrupted a few times.
We're on the show, and everybody wants to know what you guys have been up to. So tell the people, what have you guys been doing?
What?
No, I'm curious. What have you been doing?
Yeah.
Are you just watching YouTube?
Yeah.
And watching your tablet?
I
You thought it was sad that I didn't come?
No, sad.
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, it's not fast, Halterman. Okay.
What are they upset about?
Oh, your pants are going up and down. Hey, what have you been doing? Watching my phone? Any good stuff?
I told you.
Is the house destroyed? Did you guys order pizza? No? Oh man. All right. Well, hey, you know what? It looks like
I told you.
it looks like we have escaped disaster here.
The dog's alive. I saw the dog.
Yeah, Millie's probably I can guarantee you Millie's pooped in the house somewhere. So that's a for sure.
Hey, as long as they haven't pooped in the house.
Yeah. Has anybody pooped? Any poops? Wow.
No.
You want to give any final thoughts, to Halterman? Oh, nice. That looks good.
Yep.
You want to say anything to the mic, to the fans, the thousands listening? No? Okay. Hey, who's gonna win this? Are the Chiefs gonna win? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Lincoln says, "My God, I hope they don't find access to Jared's Tinder."
Hey, what do you guys think of Halterman? What do you think of him? Huh? Down? Oh, thumbs down.
Oh, thumbs down. Yeah. Well, hey, Dan doesn't like us either. Dan seems like a nice guy. You guys have no clue. Trust me. Get a clue. It's jockey trainer combos, and that's it.
Thumbs up? Oh, you think Aaron thumbs up? Oh, you got a thumbs up from Coop, my man.
All right.
Well, it's a split crowd over here, so.
Wow.
Hey, that's enough. Okay. Thank you. All right. We're pressing buttons over here. All right, guys. Hey, it's been, you know what? We survived. I think that's a win. For the most part, I think you're going to get all facets of the racing dudes tonight. So Remember to go check out the Magic Mike show. I think they did the Gulfstream Park. Dude, Gulfstream Park, late pick 4. Hey, I did bring him in, so.
This is
kind
your
of on
fault
me.
now. Yeah.
It's kind of on me, right? I brought them in. They were being just fine. All right. Hey, you guys want to close this thing off? Here we go. Let's try this. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. You're Cohen Dean Welch. And what's your name?
My name's Cooper.
Cooper. All right. The best closing we've ever had. Good luck this weekend, everybody.
Bye, guys.